Welcome back to COM 3693, Interpersonal Health Communication. In this module, we're addressing the complex communication landscape that people with disabilities must navigate in their relationships with others. Although there was a pervasive view that people with disabilities are disconnected from society, the dominant perspective now is that those with disabilities are connected in rich familial, friend, coworker, and romantic relationships. Some individuals with hidden disabilities can conceal or make choices about who to disclose their condition to, but others with visible disabilities don't have the same choice of self-disclosure. The decision-making process involves careful considerations about self-disclosing of a disability because the communication activity is considered to be risky. Part of the issue is that some able-bodied people view people with disabilities as being abnormal and quickly categorize them into a stigmatized group identity. Often, when a person discloses disability status with an able-bodied individual, the person with the disability is put into a vulnerable situation. This is because sometimes able-bodied individuals don't know how to talk about disability. A common way that able-bodied individuals confront discussions of disability is that they engage in over-accommodation, often using language meant for children, over-helping, and over-nurturing the person with a disability. Another way able-bodied people confront the topic of disability is with a condescending tone or message. Using euphemisms like differently abled, mentally or physically challenged, special, or handy-capable to describe disability can be considered condescending. Finally, a third way people confront disability is by showing exaggerated levels of pity toward the disability. People may constantly say things like, "I'm so sorry you're suffering from this misfortune." According to the US Census Bureau, approximately 20% of the US population has some disability. With 1 out of 5 people identifying as having a disability, numerous examples of interabled relationships exist. Interabled relationships involve one partner who has a disability and the other partner who does not. These relationships can be difficult to navigate because the disability may influence perceptions like capableness, attractiveness, and overall health. In an interview study conducted by Sierra Weiss and her colleagues published in the Journal of Humanities and Rehabilitation, an engaged couple, a mother and daughter, and 2 colleagues responded to questions about how they navigate disability in their relationships. Some mentioned that as the progressive condition became worse, their individual growth added to the maturation and resilience of the relationship. In other cases, the bond grows from a caregiver perspective. Taking care of a parent with a disability, for instance, was viewed as the ultimate way in which a child could give back to her parents. Children with disabilities enter the world with minority status. These children often find roadblocks to socialization when young due to the rigid, limiting, and harsh characterizations of those with disabilities. A study by Chad Rose and his colleagues in 2015 found that children with disabilities were disproportionately targeted as victims of bullying. They found that students with disabilities experienced higher rates of victimization than students without disabilities. A deeper analysis revealed that those with learning disabilities, such as children on the autism spectrum, experience higher rates of victimization in inclusive learning environments where able-bodied children share the same classroom space as children with disabilities, whereas those with intellectual and emotional or behavioral disorders experience higher levels of victimization in restrictive, exclusive settings. Children with disabilities face immense challenges beyond the physical and emotional bullying that happens within the school system. Children with disabilities are likely to face stigmatization and ostracization, which makes socialization and the idea of fitting in difficult within the classroom environment. Likewise, children with disabilities have few adults with disabilities after which they can model themselves, so social learning becomes difficult on that front as well. Media play a predominant role in societal perceptions of those with disabilities. The vast array of media messages reflect and reinforce a presumed dual dimensionality of people with disabilities. Messages depicting an outstanding helpless dichotomy dominate the air, portraying them as either heroic or as tragic, usually embittered and angry, and people only worthy of pity and charity. They're rarely seen as whole and complex, leading the same kinds of lives as able-bodied people. These persistent images cultivate societal attitudes of people with disabilities as either helpless or proliferating a message that the only admirable or even acceptable way of adapting to a disability is to refuse to be limited by it. That's pretty much all I have for this module on disability in relationships. In this module, you learned about what disability is, the dynamics played in interabled relationships, why some children with disabilities have roadblocks to socialization, and the important role played by media in casting a light on disability. As usual, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments of this video or feel free to email me. Thanks again for watching until the end, and I'll see you again next week.